can go wrong. But I think, everyone was very, very obedient, and you also just want people to be respectful, and I think that's the main thing.
Yeah, and yeah, not that hopefully the listeners don't think like this is just kind of on a day drive through a zoo type environment. But I remember we also came across a buffalo that had been pretty ripped up. His haunches were pretty badly damaged, and obviously the at least the U.S. instinct was you should do something to help that thing. And you're like, actually, we don't get involved. We just let this sort of, and then you basically said kind of an offhanded comment. You're like, well, they'll be back for it tonight or something along those lines. And that's tough to swallow for somebody coming from, from here. But I mean, you obviously were seeing stuff like that all the time, right?
Yeah, I think, at the end of the day, that's what's so special about, well, it's a privilege being there, because it's an ecosystem that's so natural and functioning the way it has been for thousands of years. We just viewing it. We spectators. That's the stage is set, and it's just completely natural. And unfortunately, and as hard as it is, I think it's just human nature that you want to help out. Like if an animal is suffering, you want to help out. But at the end of the day, that buffalo will, feed a lot of hyena, or feed a big pride of lion. At the end of the day, also it becomes fertilizer, and grass can grow, and there's a whole process, and it is tough because naturally you want to help out, but yeah, so many other things benefit from that buffalo being eaten.
Yeah, and to be perfectly honest with you, and we could go off on a tangent here and some kind of a spiritual or a philosophical conversation about that, but a couple things. One is I think everybody should be exposed to that at some point, just to make you realize that as a human being, you're so far removed from the natural world that it's kind of nice to get shocked back into that sort of, okay, this is not all about me. I mean, I'm just, like you said, I'm just a spectator. This game has been played for millions of years. I'm just here at this moment watching, and there's nothing I can or should do about it. And it definitely gives you a little bit of perspective about being human. That's one. Two is just kind of goes to show just how over civilized humans have become and how far removed from the natural world we have become. So, and
Yeah.
you and I could talk about that over a bottle of whiskey some night and really get into it. But that's what's so fascinating about that experience.
No, it is 100%. And like, I think that the safari is such a special place if you to reconnect, with nature and with the environment, to disconnect, from the hustle and bustle of normal life, to go out, to be a spectator, to reconnect with nature. It just does something for the soul, and you feel rejuvenated once you've been in the bushveld. And yeah, I mean, we can definitely get philosophical because, there's could go on and on.
Yeah, it's funny in my head hearing you say that. We can definitely get philosophical as you're describing a 400-pound lion charging at you. It's just, but that's it's you getting yourself out of yourself, getting yourself out of your normal day to day, and just really realize, it was awesome, dude. So you were there. So we were there at I don't remember the exact dates. It was 2016. So you stayed there for a couple, maybe another year, or how long after we left did you end up leaving and starting your life?
I left in May 2017.
Okay.
So yeah, I can't quite remember what time of year you guys were there. I'm pretty sure it was either that first or second quarter. So
okay.
Probably another year after you were there. And then,
okay.
Yeah.
Now since then, so you're talking, call it 3.5 years or so, call it 4 years. Have you gone back into the bush? I mean, do you do that on a regular basis, or is that that's been it for a while?
No, I'm actually very fortunate. So my girlfriend has Her folks have a place in the Sabi Sands as well, actually. So just north of Londolozi, there's another farm called Buffelshoek. And that basically borders the Kruger National Park on the eastern side, and then on the Manyaleti Private Game Reserve on the northern side. But all the fences are open. And look, I mean, I'm extremely privileged to be able to go there because, you know, when we go, I can also drive myself around. I'm allowed to go off road, you know. I'm allowed to follow a leopard and set up a drink stop, and pretty much have a very, very similar experience as to what I did at Londolozi, but just have her and I in the car, or her folks and I. So, yeah, I mean, we go back very frequently.